sent out. And I love it. And I think it's absolutely what we need right now. So if you're ready to get started, find that comfortable space, sitting down, rooting your sits bones or your root of your bottom to the earth. And let the hands rest wherever they're comfortable, whether that's on the knees or in the lap. Maybe drop the shoulders away from the ears. You're just finding a comfortable space for you. Maybe the eyes are closed. A lot of times my eyes are closed. So if it feels comfortable to you, find the eyes to soften and close. If it doesn't, just let there be a soft gaze off the tip of the nose. We'll take just a few cycles of breath where we're just noticing what the breath is doing. So we're not changing anything. We're not deepening the breath or shortening or lengthening or doing anything here. We're just noticing. We're noticing how the inhale comes in through the nose. And then how the exhale leaves the body, whether that's through the mouth or the nose, wherever that is. You're feeling the breath move through the body. Noticing that length through the spine. Soften where you're holding. Notice where you're holding. Are you holding through the jaw? Are you holding in tension in the face, the shoulders? Can you soften places that you're feeling that you're holding at? We'll take a few more cycles of breath where we're just noticing. You're starting to notice what's going on, where your mind is. If you can, slowly just bring that focus to the breath. And then when you're ready, we're going to move into a little bit of a breath of surrender. And what that is just really letting go. So the first thing we'll do is we'll take our hands out to the side. And so almost imagine that you just dipped your hands in honey or glue or something really sticky. And then take your hands and just start to shake them. So you're shaking your hands not so hard that you're going to hurt anything or hit yourself or anything like that. But you're just shaking your hands to, like you're trying to get all of that honey off of your hands. So you're just shaking, and just for a few more moments, you're just shaking the hands. And you're still breathing here, and however that is for you, and your hands can be kind of going wild or whatever, but you're just trying to shake it out. We'll take about 2 more full cycles of breath where you're just shaking it out. Just a few more moments here. Even if you feel silly, it might feel good to just kind of release here. And then slowly just start to rotate the wrists in one direction. Slow them down. Rotate the other way. Open and close the hands. And then slowly rotate the hands down, resting the palms face down on the knees. So if it feels comfortable to you, we're going to move through a little bit of a controlled breath. If you feel uncomfortable at any time, or if this gives you any anxiety, you're just going to move through nasal breathing, in and out through the nose. A more comfortable breath, maybe just in through the nose. Maybe you imagine that you're filling up a cup as you fill the belly, as you pull the inhale in, and then emptying the cup as you exhale, press it out of the nose. So that's just a comfortable breath that might feel a little bit better than the one that we're going to move through. The one we're going to move through is a surrender breath. So what that is we're going to inhale through the nose to the count of 4. We're going to pause at the top of the breath, and we're going to hold for a count of 4. And then we're going to release just naturally, pressing all of that air out. So I really like to do a cleansing breath on the exhale because that's really good to just let go of anything I'm holding. I almost feel like as you're inhaling, you're collecting all of that stuff, and then you're holding it, and then you're just shoving it all out. So maybe you're thinking of things as you're collecting them, or there's stuff that's bothering you, you're feeling tightness in the chest or anxiety or anything that you're just feeling a lot of right now. Collect it all up and then just push it out, let it go. So when you're ready, we're gonna move through the cycles of breath. So when you are ready, again, I said that a couple times, but find a comfortable space for the hands. Maybe you wanna receive, palms face up, or maybe you wanna be a little more grounded, palms face down, your choice. When you're ready, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold at the top, 2, 3, 4, and then release. Empty the lungs. So you're emptying the lungs completely until you can't let go of any more. Press all that air out. And then when you're ready, inhale. 2, 3, 4, pause. 2, 3, 4, release. So emptying the lungs. Let all that air come out. I'm going to cycle you through a few more rounds, and then you're going to let it go on your own. So inhale when you're ready. 2, 3, 4, pause. 2, 3, 4, release. Maybe it feels better to let that exhale out of the nose. Empty the lungs completely wherever you are. Inhale, draw it in. 2, 3, 4, pause. 2, 3, 4, release. So move through a few more cycles on your own, at your own pace. If you find that 4 is too much, it's giving you a little anxiety, or you're feeling that that pause is too much, lessen the number. If you feel like you're not getting quite enough on the inhale, increase the number. Try to keep that pause at about 4 if that's available to you. So move through 2 more solid rounds of breath. Maybe the eyes are closed, maybe they're open. Okay, I was joking. Let's do 2 more cycles just to let it go. Anything else? I felt like those 2, now we need a little bit more. Last one. Now from here, let's do 2 full cleansing breaths. So deep inhale in, no count here, just fill the lungs completely. And then release. Let it out of the mouth, press all that air out. When you're ready, inhale, draw it in. And then let it go. Start to let your breath just fall back to a rhythm that is comfortable to you. So that's nasal breathing in and out through the nose, or in through the nose, out through the mouth. Wherever you can connect to throughout your practice. We're going to start to bring in some movement now. So we'll start with the head and the neck. So circles in one direction. So we're just going to move from the crown of the head down to the base of the spine. So just any kind of movement here. So starting by making those circles in one direction, and maybe you pause to the right or to the left because you need a little extra on the side. And then maybe you're linking your breath with this movement. So as you inhale, you're drawing the head upwards. As you exhale, you're bringing the head down and around. Letting the movement be as fast or as slow as you need it to be. And then next time that you find yourself upright, just switch to the opposite direction. Notice the change between one side and the other. Maybe noticing how one side may feel a little different than the other as you're just allowing that movement to be whatever it is. And then notice when you start to feel balance, when you start to feel pretty good on both sides, you'll start to find your way back through neutral, through center. Lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders away from the ears. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale to draw the arms up and overhead, really reaching up through the torso. Maybe the gaze lifts. And then exhale, find cactus. So bending into the elbows, you're going to shift your shoulder blades back towards each other so that you can really feel almost like they're trying to meet. Gaze can be lifted or it can be straight ahead, whatever feels comfortable to you. We'll take one more deep breath here. Inhale, draw the arms up and overhead. And then we're going to take a side body bend to the right. So plant on the exhale that right palm outside of the right hip as you reach the left arm up and overhead. So as you come into this side body bend, I invite you to just find your comfort zone. So I'm going to say comfortable a lot because it's like one of my favorite words when it comes to your practice, because you really just want to focus on what feels good to you. So depending on where it feels good for your neck, these can be down towards the floor, can be up towards the fingertips. And then if you like movement here, maybe you want to rotate the wrist in one direction and then the other. And maybe you need a little bit more and you draw the arm forward or you draw the arm back. Or maybe stillness is where it's at and that's where you stay. We'll take 2 more full cycles of breath here. Allow the inhale to draw you through center, reach arms up and overhead, lengthen through the torso. Maybe the gaze lifts, really pulling through the fingertips, reaching. And then as you exhale, plant the left palm outside of the left hip as you reach over with the right arm for a side body bend. So as you're reaching here, you're really planting through the left palm to keep that right hip grounded. So you're keeping it connected to the earth so you can feel the stretch through the side body. Your gaze goes where it's comfortable on your neck. Maybe the side's a little different. Maybe you can soften that left shoulder away from the ear. And if you needed that movement, bring it in. That stillness, you stay right here. 1 more cycle of breath. Inhale draws you through center. And then as you exhale, just rotate the wrists in one direction, bringing them all the way down. Hands can rest on the top of the knees or maybe inside. If you've been sitting in Sukhasana or easy pose with the legs crossed and you'd like to, you can bring the hands behind the hips to just release. You can bring the legs out, maybe a little movement here. Sometimes I find my hips start to tighten up if I'm sitting in one space for too long, so just find movement. Maybe pointing and flexing through the feet. And then we're going to come back into a seated position, so whatever that is for you. So if you'd like to, instead of having one foot out, you'll switch. So if the right foot was out, now it'll be in and the left foot will be out. So you'll just switch sort of where you were to whatever's most comfortable for you. So here we're going to start to move into the hips. So we're going to start with circles. So just moving in any direction, again, fast or slow, taking your time here to just acknowledge any way that the body's feeling, and then maybe you pause there. And then if you'd like to link your breath and movement, the inhale draws you up, the exhale brings you down and around. So link breath and movement if that's available to you. And then just allow yourself to move however you need. Wherever you need to pause, wherever your body needs a little extra. Next time that you find yourself upright, just switch to the opposite direction. So notice what you need here. Notice how this feels. Notice how one side might feel a little different. And then just acknowledging that. And then when you start to feel balanced, you'll come back through center. Stand or we'll sit up tall. Maybe you're still on your blanket, lengthening through the spine. Take a cycle of breath here. Maybe it's a cleansing breath. And then when you're ready, we're going to come into a wide leg seat. So you can stay sitting on your blanket. That will help to elevate the hips a little and that might feel more comfortable. So bringing the legs out wide. So you're going to bring your legs out as comfortably as it is for you. So it's really important to find your edge. Everybody's body is different, so we're all going to look a little bit different and feel a little bit different. So you're just honoring whatever your body's asking. There's all kinds of positions and things that we can come into in yoga, and you find where you are most comfortable. So coming into a wide-legged, you'll bring the legs out as wide, find your edge. That's where your body naturally stops. So you can soften through the knees here if you need a little extra. You can flex the feet, you can rotate the ankles. Just take a moment to connect here. Feel the root all the way in, lengthen through the spine, drop the shoulders away from the ears. And then from here, we're gonna come into a forward fold. So inhale to draw the arms up and overhead, and then exhale, hinging at the hips, you'll start to fold forward. So again, find your edge. Where's your body naturally stopping? Drop the hands, soften the top half of the body. So maybe that's really high. Maybe your hamstrings, maybe this doesn't feel good. Maybe you just don't fold. And that's okay. Everybody's body does whatever you need. So you want to feel comfortable here. You want to feel good here. If you're in pain or you're feeling discomfort, that's not fun. And yoga's fun. So make sure you're in a comfortable space. You're feeling a little bit, a little bit of a stretch there, but it feels good. So soften the top half of the body. If you like props, maybe a block or a bolster's here for support, whatever you need, softening the shoulders. We'll take 2 more full cycles of breath here. Really good for the spine here. So just being mindful if you have injuries or anything that's going on with your body that this doesn't feel good, listen to your body first. 1 more full breath. Let the inhale draw you all the way back up. Reach the arms up and overhead. And then as you exhale, we're going to plant that left palm in the midline, so right about midline of your mat, and then inhale to reach the right arm up and overhead. So just a little bit of a twist. You can stay on the tips of the fingers, or you can plant the palm, whatever feels good to you. Gaze can lift if that's okay on the neck. 1 more breath. And then reaching. As you exhale, plant that right palm. Inhale, draw the left arm up and overhead, really reaching through the fingertips. Gaze goes where it's comfortable. Notice your breath. And then the exhale slowly brings that left hand down to meet the right. Inhale to draw yourself all the way back up. Take the hands back behind you to release the hips. And then bring the legs out, sort of like bending into these sort of those windshield wiper movements, just to bring a little bit movement into the hips. The windshield wiper movements are my favorite for any kind of transition between poses or holds and yin. I love windshield wiper movements for kind of just allowing stillness to move through the body. And when you're ready, we're going to sit back up and we're going to come into butterfly or Baddha Konasana. So you're going to bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall open. So if this right away is too intense for you, a couple things that you can do is bring the feet further away from the body, making sort of a diamond shape with the legs. That will relieve a little bit through the hips here, and that might be a little more comfortable. Or you can bring in blocks, or if you're at home, maybe cushions feel good, and you can just bring cushions or blankets underneath. Whatever serves you, wherever you find comfort. So you'll bring the soles of the feet together and then take a moment to notice. Are you leaning forward? Are you hunching in? Can you draw the shoulder blades up and back, lengthening through the spine? Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Take a moment here, take a breath. Maybe the head is over the heart and the heart is over the hips. You're lengthening through the spine. Maybe you have a grip on your here or taking a bind. You have your hands on your ankles or around the feet, whatever feels good. Just so you can allow the shoulders to really drop away from the ears. And then we're going to start by moving into the upper body. So if you know it's within your practice and you want to fold forward and you want a longer hold in your fold, then you'll go ahead and move into that now safely. I will lead you there in a moment if you wanted to take this a little further. So starting with the upper body, we'll take a hold, ankles or the tops of the feet. Maybe it's the calves or the shins, wherever you find this is most comfortable. Inhale to draw the gaze up towards the ceiling, and then as you exhale, tuck the chin in towards the chest. So you're staying lifted, you're staying up, you're not folding over yet, and we're just taking a moment to feel this stretch through the upper part of the body. So through the shoulders, through the neck, the upper back. And then keeping a focus on the breath. Has it changed as you're folding in a little? Is it about the same? Are you able to take those full inhales in? If this feels good, stay right here and move through about 3 more cycles of breath. If you want a little bit more and it's in your practice, allow the inhale to draw the gaze up. And then leading with the heart, you'll start to fold forward. Again, we're coming to that edge. Our edge is where our body's naturally stopping. That's where you stop. Then you'll start to round in, tucking the chin towards the chest and just sort of rounding the body in. Generally in our forward folds, we're keeping that flat back, but in our Baddha Konasana, our butterfly, we're rounding in. Your hands can take a hold around the feet. Maybe rest the palms face up or face down, whatever feels good to you here. And noticing where you're feeling sensation in the body, and then where you can soften, where you can send that exhale to allow a little bit of a release. 2 more full cycles of breath. If you're lifted, you can keep moving through your breath, or you can slowly start to release your mind. When you're ready, your inhale draws you all the way back up. We're gonna bring the hands behind for that release of the hips and just bring the knees in. Any kind of movement here. Anything that feels good, you can start to bring the legs out a little bit. Movement in between is so important, allowing that stillness to move through the body. So whatever that is for you. And then when you're ready, we're gonna come back into butterfly just to bring us into our next pose. So I want you to be really mindful of your body here. So we're just gonna take this a little bit more of a gentle route. We're not gonna go into a big or the full expression of the pose. So if you have any injuries through the knees, or if this feels like too much, then you can come into easy pose and just take a traditional spinal twist. But if you'd like a little bit more through the hips, if you'd like a little internal and external rotation at the same time that you're coming into your twist, then we're gonna come into deer pose. So we're gonna start by bringing that right foot back behind the body. And then we're gonna start to kind of heel toe or creep that left foot over towards the right side of the mat. So again, like I said earlier, everybody's body's different, so you wanna really just adjust to where you're comfortable. You can stay sitting on that blanket if that feels good, or you can be seated right on your floor or on your mat. Now here's where you're gonna adjust. That right foot can be close in towards the body, it can be a little further away. Same thing with the left foot. The heel can be really close in towards the body, or it can be further away. You find your comfort zone. Keeping the hips grounded if that's available. If you feel a little bit of a lift, you just wanna listen to your body and make adjustments as needed. So when you're ready, we'll inhale to draw the arms up and overhead. If this doesn't feel good, you're gonna just take a traditional spinal twist with the legs crossed. If it feels okay, the inhale draws it up. And then as we exhale, we're gonna bring that right hand to the left knee. Bring the left hand behind the body. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and then exhale, take your gaze over towards the left. So you're twisting with the belly, the midline, the torso. So you're twisting in here, and then maybe your gaze is just over to the left. If it's available and it feels okay on your neck, maybe you take your gaze all the way over that left shoulder, but you wanna be super mindful of how your neck feels. Sometimes our necks can hold a lot of tightness and tension. So you just wanna be really, really careful not to push yourself further than you wanna go. So we're gonna take 2 more cycles of breath here. Feeling sensation if you're in that deer pose, and that right hip, a little bit in the left. So 1 more full breath here. Then the inhale draws you back through center. Reach the arms up and overhead. And then as you exhale, just a little counter over towards the right. You can just rest the hands right on the top of the leg as you just take the gaze over. So a little sensation through the left hip here. And then inhale draws you through center. We'll take the hands back behind again for that release. I'm gonna do that a ton, so if that is one of your favorite places to go, it's definitely one of mine. Bring in movement, side to side. Anything that feels good. If you need to extend the leg, rotate through the ankles. And then when you're ready, we'll come back through that butterfly. So I like to just come through butterfly to transition from one side to the other. If you have another way that works better for you, that's where you go. So we're gonna keep the right foot up front, and we're gonna take the left foot back behind us. So right away you might notice there's a complete difference between the sides. I know my hips are completely different and it's a lot tighter on this side, so I have to make adjustments. So listen to your body. You'll bring your right foot, your shin can be parallel with the top of the mat if that suits you. If not, you find your adjustment. So foot in close, foot further away, and then allow yourself to root in. Maybe you're still on that blanket, or maybe you're just rooting into the earth. So notice where you're feeling sensation, allow yourself to settle, and then when you're ready, inhale to draw the arms up and overhead, fill the lungs. And then as you exhale, left hand goes to the top of the right knee, right hand goes behind the body. Inhale to lengthen your spine, straightening through, and then as you exhale, turn from the torso as you come into your twist. Maybe the gaze is just over that right side, maybe you can take it all the way over the shoulder, really, really mindful of the neck. Feeling the stretch through this, or feeling that twist through the midline, really feeling it in the spine. 2 more full cycles of breath. Your inhale draws you through center, and then we're just gonna come to that little bit of a counter, fill the lungs, and then as you're ready to empty them, drop over towards the left. So hands just rest on the left leg, anywhere that's comfortable, and then just let your gaze go that way. And then inhale draws you through center, bring the hands behind for that release, and then movement here. So one more seated posture, and then we're gonna find our way to hands and knees. So we'll come back into butterfly again. Butterfly can really be a nice base for moving from a couple different poses or setting yourself into a couple different poses. So from here, we're gonna come into Janu Sirsasana. So you can extend that right leg out to the side. And then if you'd like, maybe half butterfly. So maybe that left foot hovers at the midline and you just stay right here because this feels good. Or Janu Sirsasana, you're bringing the sole of that left foot right into the upper part of the right thigh. So again, your comfort zone, your practice, not mine. I'm just giving you suggestions on what might feel good for your body. So when you're ready, inhale to draw the arms up and overhead. And then turning the torso towards the right, exhale, fold over. So option here is you can use a strap. That's an extension of your limbs that's gonna allow you to have a little bit more control of where your stretch is. If you don't have any props, hands go where they're comfortable. Maybe they're resting on the calf, either side. Maybe you take hold of the foot. Your practice. If it's available, your gaze could be towards the right knee. We'll take a few cycles of breath here. One more full breath. Inhale draws you all the way up. Reach the arms up and overhead. And then exhale, release. Maybe that exhale left through the mouth. We'll draw that right leg in. You can come back through butterfly if you'd like, but we're gonna extend the left leg out. And then either half butterfly or you're all the way in. Rooting in and allowing yourself to settle. And when you're ready, the inhale draws the arms up and overhead, lengthening through, fill the lungs. And then turning the torso towards the left as you exhale, fold over. So you're taking the bind wherever it's comfortable to you. So maybe you're just resting the hands on the leg. Maybe you're taking a hold around the foot. If it's available, the gaze can be towards the left knee. Take one more full cycle of breath here. And then inhale to draw you all the way back up. Bring the hands behind for that release, and then bring the feet in. Maybe rock the knees from side to side. So take a breath here, just to sort of settle in and bring movement. And then when you're ready, we're gonna find our way to hands and knees or tabletop. So you can kind of just roll over. You can bring yourself, I'm gonna come this way so you can kind of see. One of my favorite ways is to take a blanket along the width of my mat for a little extra comfort under the knees. And then as you come to hands and knees or come into tabletop, you can bring yourself into your alignment if that's available. If you don't want to, or it just doesn't feel comfortable today, maybe the wrists are really talking to you and that's just not something that's available, you find where you're comfortable. So hands and knees, you can start by bringing the wrists underneath the shoulders or the knees underneath the hips. And as we come into tabletop, I just want you to start to move into the body. So there's no right or wrong, there's no particular way that you have to go or any type of movement that you have to do. You just want to move anywhere that feels comfortable to you. So maybe you close off the eyes, if that's available, or maybe there's just a soft gaze off the tip of the nose. So shifting back towards child's pose, or maybe shifting forward towards cobra or sphinx. Maybe you're just rocking from side to side. So any organic movement here. We're going to take about 5 cycles of breath, moving in any way that feels good. So just allow your body to move. Move into places where you're feeling tightness or where you're feeling tension, or maybe you have no idea where you're feeling anything and you're just moving. And take one more full cycle of breath. Draw yourself back through center, and then we're going to move a little bit into the spine. So we're going to move through a few rounds of cat-cow. So breath and movement here. So really allowing the inhale to draw the gaze towards the ceiling. Let the belly drop and the tailbone lift. And then as you exhale, round in, tucking the chin towards the chest, pressing away from the earth with the hands. Inhale, belly drops, tailbone lift, gaze lifts. Let the heart open. Exhale, round in. So move at your pace. Follow your breath here. Move through 2 more solid rounds. Inhale and exhale. And then find your way back through neutral. So you're coming back into that neutral spine. And then from here, we're going to take a moment to pause and we're going to come to child's pose. So the big toes can come together. You can bring the knees towards the width of the mat. So as wide as the knees go, as comfortable as you want it to be. Wider the knees are, a little more intense, closer in, a little less. Walk the hands out in front of you and rest the forehead on the mat. Really reaching through the fingertips here, allowing the breath, really feeling the breath here, in and out. So feel the belly rise and fall as you inhale and exhale. Maybe you can feel the belly pressing against the top of the thighs or the earth. So 2 more full cycles of breath. And then when you're ready, inch that right arm just a little bit forward, or the hand, almost like you're trying to reach the top of the mat, leaving the left hand where it is, just a little stretch through that right shoulder. So you're just reaching forward just slightly. Bring the right hand back in line with the left, and then start to walk the fingertips forward on the left hand. So just reaching just a little bit forward. A little stretch through that left shoulder. And then bringing the hands back, behind, back in line. And then we'll find our way back into that tabletop if you need to rock a little from side to side here. And then when you're ready, we're gonna make our way all the way down to our belly. So as you come down onto your belly, if it's available, you can bring yourself all the way down, resting your head on your hands. So as you rest, maybe your hands are cradling your chin or your temple or your forehead. We're just going to take a moment to scan the body. So staying right where you are in that connection that's comfortable for you. If you find that coming up into Sphinx pose is something that you need right now, then you're welcome to find your way there. But for a few moments, we're just gonna connect body to the earth. As we move from seated to hands and knees to belly, and then eventually onto our backs. Connecting as we come to each space is so important. Connecting to the body, becoming present as we're moving through our practice, wherever that is, whether it's at home or in a studio, finding that connection, bringing your mind back to that space is so important. So wherever you are, allow yourself to just imagine the breath is moving all the way up from the toes. So as you inhale, draw that inhale all the way up from the toes through the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, send the breath back down the body. So sending it all the way from the crown of the head down through the feet. Inhale, draw the breath all the way back up. So each time that you're pulling the breath up from the toes, you're just noticing. Noticing where you're making contact, where you're feeling the body touching the floor, wherever you are. 2 more full cycles of breath, just noticing. Noticing where you're feeling sensation. Where are you holding? Are you holding anywhere? Can you soften? Can you release? And then when you're ready, if it's available, we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So you want to, again, be really mindful. If you have any low back problems, if you have any pain or pinching, you're going to want to stay lowered all the way down. So I'm just adjusting so that I can face you. But we're going to come up onto the forearms. So the body is long, and we're on the forearms here. So the elbows are up underneath the shoulders if that's available, and the arms are about shoulder width distance apart. Hands are spread, hands are wide, and then you can press the hands and the fingers into the earth. Soften the shoulders away from the ears, and then maybe if you want a little bit through the throat, a little more through that throat chakra, you can lift the gaze, really stretching through here, or you can drop the head in between the shoulders, whatever feels comfortable to you. And then notice, again, where are you holding? Through the low half of the body, can you soften the feet, the thighs, the glutes? How about the jaw, the face? Cycles of breath here, feeling your connection again to the earth. The fingers and the feet. Drawing yourself back every time that you notice the connection, you notice the breath, maybe feeling the belly rise and fall as you inhale and exhale. Pressing into the earth and then softening away. And if it's available and you'd like to move a little bit further, you can take your hands back a little bit, about where your elbows were. And then you can slowly lift all the way up, coming into Cobra. Really mindful of the low back here. This is an intense back bend, so you want to be mindful. If you feel pain or pinching, you come all the way down. If it feels okay, one more full breath here. Feeling the stretch all the way from the navel up through the throat. If you would take the gaze up. Inhale wherever you are, and then as you exhale, lower all the way down. Take a full body stretch here. Reach the arms out in front of you. Rock a little from side to side. Maybe bend into the knees and rock the feet from side to side. And then when you're ready, we are going to come back into tabletop or to come back onto hands and knees, just so that we can allow any kind of movement that we might need before we make our way onto our backs. So if you'd like to come into table, maybe you want another cat-cow, maybe you want to shift back into child's pose. Take about 3 cycles of breath here, and then when you're ready, we're going to make our way down onto our back. So maybe that blanket is still there for comfort. Just making adjustments, anything that you might need, then you'll slowly roll yourself down onto your back. So adjust, have the knees bent or the legs can be out long. It just depends on where you're comfortable and what feels good to you. And then take a few moments here as we come down onto our back to do the same thing as when we made our way to our belly. So notice where your body is making contact with the earth. So maybe the hands are out, maybe the palms are face down. Maybe the knees are back because that feels better, or maybe the legs are extended out long. So wherever you are, take a moment, notice where the feet are making contact, where the hips, the low back, the upper back, the head, just scanning your body. Take one more full breath. And then when you're ready, inhale to draw the knees in towards center. Bring in any kind of movement here, rocking from side to side. Circles, maybe you're drawing sort of like a figure 8 on the ceiling. Maybe you're hugging the knees in close, giving yourself a little bit more of an upper back massage, or maybe you're bringing the knees further away, a little more into the low back. And then when you're ready from here, we're gonna come into candlestick. So extend both legs up towards the ceiling. Let the feet be flat, almost like you're standing on the ceiling. So options here is you can bring the hands to the low back for support. You can bring a blanket, a block, a strap around the feet, whatever you'd like. You can have a soft bend into the knees if that's available and if that's what you need. So coming into legs up the wall, or sometimes, or legs up the wall if you're using the wall as an assist or as a prop, or you're coming into candlestick. Really great pose to come to at the end of your practice, at the end of the day. We'll take one more full breath here. And then inhale, and then as you exhale, slowly lower the heels to the earth. It can be together, it can be apart. You can hug the knees in and lower them down. But allow yourself to just rock from side to side, any kind of movement. And then when you're ready, we're gonna hug the knees back and towards the chest. Rock a little here. And then we're gonna plant the left foot on the earth, keeping the knee bent. We're gonna take that right ankle over the top of the left thigh. So coming into a figure 4, sort of like a reclined pigeon. So right here might be enough for you. You might feel enough sensation in the hip, and this is where you stay. Or maybe you take that right hand and you press that right thigh slightly away from the body, opening up here. If this feels good, you want to stay right here. Just allow yourself to move through breath. If you want a little bit more, you can take the hands behind the left thigh, and then you can start to straighten that left leg up towards the ceiling if that feels okay. Or you can keep the knee bent. Wherever you're comfortable, you can just take the hands and draw yourself in to whatever you need. So this is a really great way. I love coming into a reclined pigeon because it gives you a lot more control because your body weight isn't over the top. So if you're forward facing, you have to have your body weight on top here. Where here, you have a lot more control of where you're feeling the sensation according to how you're hugging the knees in. So just allow the breath in and out. We're gonna take about 4 more cycles of breath here in this reclined pigeon. And then if your left leg is lifted, slowly lower it all the way down, and then take that right ankle off the top of the left thigh, rock the knees from side to side, those windshield wiper movements again. And then we'll take a moment to come to a reclined butterfly. Soles of the feet come together, let the knees fall open. Take a moment here to just pause. If this doesn't feel good or you feel uncomfortable, feet can come to the width of the mat, knees can come in towards each other. If it feels okay to come into that reclined butterfly, I want you to just take notice. So as we're starting to open up the hips in a reclined way, we've already moved into the hips a little bit in our practice. Not a surprise. Love hip openers. So just take a moment to notice the right side opposed to the left. Hands can rest on the thighs, they can be on the belly, they can be down to the side. We'll take one more full breath here where you're just taking notice. And then when you're ready, slowly draw the knees back in towards center. And then bring that left knee in towards the chest, and then bring the left foot over the top of the right thigh. So this side again might feel completely different. So maybe you're just pressing the weight, or the left hand is just pressing into the thigh and just opening here. Or maybe you want to take that bind and you lift up here, lift the right foot. Maybe you bend into the knee. Maybe here is a little different. You sort of hug in. Just anything here that feels good. Take a few more cycles of breath. Notice how you're feeling here. Notice where you're holding. Anywhere through the body. Can you soften a little through the shoulders? One more full breath here. And then slowly lower that right foot down if it was lifted. And then the left foot off of the top of the right thigh. Rock a little from side to side. And then when you're ready, take a full body stretch. So reach the arms up and overhead. Big toes come together. Full body stretch. Inhale and then exhale. And then your next inhale will draw the knees back in towards the chest. So again, that movement as you rock a little from side to side. And just like when you're in my friend Claudia's class, where it's not a Claudia class without Malasana, it's not a Danielle class without a spinal twist or reclined spinal twist at the end. So depending on which way you want to go, let your body choose. I'm going to teach to go to the right first, so maybe you join me, or maybe you go to your favorite side. So there's so many different ways that you can come into a twist, and there's so many different styles of twist. So I'm just going to teach a traditional, and you're going to go where your practice takes you and where you're comfortable. So if you'd like, you can bring the hips over towards the left side, and then you can hug the knees in, and then drop them over towards the right. So you can stack the knees if that feels good. You can bring a blanket or a pillow in between the knees. And then depending on how your shoulders feel, maybe you bring yourself all the way over to a fetal pose, palms together. And then you open out, bringing that left arm open out into T. And then maybe you stay right here. Maybe the gaze goes over the opposite shoulder if you want to twist a little more into the upper spine and that feels available. Maybe you want to extend through that top leg. So you're extending it out in front of you long. Or maybe you're bringing the sole of that foot to the earth for a little bit of that sort of reclined pigeon. Maybe you're coming into twisted roots, or you're bringing both knees down. Lots of options. You just find wherever you're comfortable, wherever you want to feel the sensation, and then just settle in. So if you've taken a class with me, you probably know how much I love twists and how important they are for your body. I'll keep it short here and just let you know, twists are so good for restoring and for releasing. So just being really mindful here, allowing the body to soften. A lot of times when we come into twists, we're feeling a lot of sensation, so just see where you can release. Maybe pull the breath in deep, filling the belly. And then you exhale, let it go. Soften in. Let go of anything that you don't need. As we're coming to the end of our practice, it's so important to just let go. One more full breath here. Allow the inhale to draw the knees back through center. Bring the arms out to T. So what's important here is to bring in movement. movement in between the twists is so important to allow that stillness. There's no right or wrong way to bring in movement, so you can start to sort of just pedal the legs. You can rock the knees from side to side. You can take a bind at the big toes, coming into happy baby. You can just stretch the legs out long. Whatever you do, just bring in movement. So whatever you need, we'll take about 2 more cycles of breath of movement. And then when you're ready, we're gonna find our way to our twist on the opposite side. So maybe you shift the hips over, bring the knees in, and then drop the knees over. Maybe you bring the arms over, and then you peel the chest open. And then maybe the gaze is over the opposite shoulder. Maybe this side's a little different, and you have to make adjustments. So just finding your comfort zone, and then settling in. Noticing breath here, noticing again, where are you holding? And where can you release? Maybe noticing where your mind is. Take 2 more full cycles of breath. Your next inhale draws the knees back through center. Hug the knees in, rock a little from side to side. Bring in that movement. Maybe it's the same on this side, maybe it's a little different, whatever feels good to you. And then maybe find your way back into that reclined butterfly. So you're finding your way back with the soles of the feet together, the knees falling open so that you can take notice between the sides. Maybe one hand rests on the belly, one hand rests on the heart. And take a moment to connect here. Find that internal connection. Our internal connection is so important, especially right now, connecting to ourselves. Listening to what our bodies are saying, listening to what the heart is saying. Maybe you can feel the belly rise and fall. Maybe you can feel the heart beating. Since we only get 30 minutes here, or 60 minutes here on Instagram, I'm going to invite you to move into your Shavasana in any way that serves you. And then you can set a timer, or you can just stay there and honor whatever practice that you need as you take that rest. Shavasana is the most important part of a practice next to the breath, in my opinion. It is so important to reset, to recharge, to absorb all of those wonderful benefits of your practice. So pausing wherever you are and taking a few moments to really just allow your breath to fall back to its natural rhythm. And allow yourself to soften all the way from the crown of the head, all the way down through the toes. Allow your breath to just move in and out of the body. I'd like to thank everyone who joined me this evening, or who is watching on a replay or any other platform. Thank you so much, and I hope that we breathe a little bit lighter. Anything that you might need, taking a few moments to just slow down is so important. I honor that place in you that is the same in me. I honor that place in you where the whole universe resides. I honor that place in you of love, of light, of peace, and of truth. I honor that place in you that is the same in me. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully I will see you all soon.